to turn the recording on. And here we go here. Okay, so thank you very much for being here. Welcome to the Marketing Your Business, Your Roadmap to Success. My name is Alan Fine, and this is my partner in crime, David Saxby. Today we're going to teach you tons of stuff. Thank you for being here. We know your time is very valuable. So you have an idea and some context on how things are going to go today. This is how it's going to go. We're going to talk about ourselves for the first 2 minutes and tell you why we're qualified. And the next 73 minutes is going to be pure content. Please make sure you have a notepad and a pen beside your pencil and take lots of notes. That's one thing I hear all the time on the webinars I do is people wish they would have taken notes sooner. Then for 5 minutes at the very end of our presentation, we're telling you how we can help you moving forward. And the last 10 minutes of our presentation today, we'll be taking questions from you. If you have any immediate questions or clarifications along the way, that won't take more than a few seconds for us, or a minute or two for us to answer. Ask them during the presentation. Otherwise, if you write the questions down, we can answer them at the very, very end for you. Okay? So let's go and tell you a little bit about ourselves. I want to introduce my friend David Saxby. He's the president and creative director at Spark Communications. David Saxby is a sales and marketing expert and a business coach who's helped thousands of businesses grow their market and their profit over the past 40 years. The reason I like working with David is he has a very methodical approach to what he does, and he doesn't just rely on his expertise. He actually has like software packages he runs his clients through to analyze their current marketing and lead generation and company online to give them a report afterwards of what they're doing properly and what they're not doing properly. So he's going to talk more about that, and take it away, David. Can't hear you, David. You're muted.
Let me introduce Alan Fine, my partner in crime, as he says. Alan is a digital marketing and website guy, and he's had 12 years plus as a LinkedIn trainer and a LinkedIn expert. And he's also had 9 years of in the LinkedIn generation industry, pardon me. And he now passes all that wealth over to his customers that he works with, his clients, and also you can learn from Alan how to use LinkedIn to leverage your data, leverage the contacts, and generate leads. And so today is about figuring out how we can get more leads and more transactions.
And also more conversions.
And more conversions, exactly.
Yeah.
So Alan had alluded to this earlier. In the process of working with my clients, and particularly in the coaching area, we look at 5 key areas in a business. And those 5 key areas are, first of all, starting with the foundation of the business. You have the right product, the right strategy, the right target market. Then we look at how we can generate more leads, not only with LinkedIn, but other ways of generating leads. And then more conversions, how to turn those leads actually into paying customers or more transactions. And then last of all, how do we increase the profits? So in the software program we do an analysis of these areas, actually 40 different areas of the business. So the first one, foundation, is the critical part of a business simply because we have to have the right strategy. And that strategy means finding the market dominating position, having the right processes and policies in place so that when we're dealing with customers, we can make that transition from prospect to sale easily. And then also, how do we build trust and expertise, and most of all, educate our customers such that they feel that we are the one they want to deal with? So it's about strategy. So the right business strategy is looking at our products and services and determining how we're different from the competition and how we can best promote those to our customers and who our customers are. Who's the target market, the one target market that is our primary focus. In addition to that, we need to look at the right marketing and sales strategy. So that includes everything from our brand, in other words, how we look and feel and what our brand message is, or the promise to the customer inherent in the brand, the messages we deliver, and through the different channels we deliver them, the offer that we have, and how that offer will influence the customer to buy, the media that we use to deliver our messages through, and the timing. So typically what happens with a lot of businesses is that we make some lead generation mistakes. And one of those is that we look at the tactics first before we look at the strategy. So we want to flip that around. We want to look at strategy first and then tactics, the implementation, afterwards. So many companies assume that lead generation means tactical lead generation. So placing ads, sending out mailers, doing networking, trade shows, having a CRM or a customer follow-up system. But the strategic side is the critical part. And that's what you say, how you say it, and more importantly, when you say it to your target market. And the message is more important than the media. The right message will get the right customers. So oftentimes too, businesses blame poor lead generation results on the marketing medium. So it might be they've run some Facebook ads or something like that, and they're saying, well, it doesn't work. That's the tactical part of the plan. And instead of looking at what's the message, whether it's good or bad, and what's the strategy that we're using, and is the strategy effective? So most businesses also rely on platitudes, particularly when we're up against our competition, things like we have the lowest prices, the best service, we're family owned and operated, we offer convenient hours, we offer the best value. We've been in business since 1431 BC. All the
Wow.
customer cares about is today, what's happening today.
Oh, sorry about that.
So when we come to lead generation, LinkedIn is definitely a channel for B2B, LinkedIn generation of leads. But if we look at other channels as well, are we exploring all of our options? Do we have a referral system in place? Do we get referrals? Do we have JV partners, joint venture partners, and alliances? Because oftentimes those can reach a market that we may not be able to reach. What about publicity and PR? Are we getting recognition through media, third-party endorsements? Direct marketing. Are we using all of the direct marketing options that we can for our audience? Advertising. Are we doing advertising? And if we are, is the advertising effective? Digital marketing. A lot of businesses now today have dumped traditional marketing methods, thinking that everybody has to be on the internet and everybody needs to be on all the social media channels, which is not true. And there's plenty of other ways of generating leads, which we'll talk a little bit more about. So when it comes to generating leads through the digital channels, here's what happens. If we look at all of the options that are out there, it's impossible to be on all of those options. You know, are we doing SEO? Are we doing video, YouTube? Are we blogging? Are we creating mobile advertising? All of the digital platforms. The fact is there's too many options to be everywhere, so we have to be selective on where we do our digital marketing. More conversions. Well, more conversions can be done through what we call a drip campaign. And a drip campaign is using email or even traditional mail, where we're sending out messages over a period of time. The key with the drip campaign is that it's information that customers can find helpful and they can apply right away, not advertising. A lot of companies make that mistake. Do we have an idea of our follow-up close ratio? So are we closing 1 out of 10 leads? Or are we closing 1 out of 20? Are we closing 1 out of 3? And what's our initial close ratio versus our final number? Do we have scripts in place? So do we have a set format of what we say so that at least we have a template when we're talking to prospects that we can share our information in a logical order and fashion? Do we have a compelling offer? We're going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. More transactions. Do we have a sales team, or are we the salesperson? How does that look, and what's the results we're getting? Do we have enough leads coming in that we can continually do sales contact with customers, or are we always looking for more leads? What about our appointment process? How do we set up appointments with our customers? Do we have additional products and services we can offer? So if a customer says, oh, I can't afford that, or I can't do that right now, do we have some options we can offer them? Can we increase the frequency of purchase? So some clients can be cyclical. In other words, they only buy at a certain time of the year, but there may be ways to introduce other packages and other offers. Can we downsell? So if a client says, well, I can't afford that, is there a way of making it affordable for them? And do we have a way of reactivating former clients? There we go. More profits. How many here want more profits? Anyone? Sure. I think we all do. So in many cases, businesses are reluctant to increase pricing because they simply feel that they'll lose customers. And in fact, they may lose customers, but more than likely, if the price is a reasonable price for what you're offering, the customers aren't going to go away. You're going to attract more of the right customers. Can we increase the longevity of the buying cycle? In other words, do we have more opportunities to engage with the customer and get them to buy? Can we upsell? So that simply means if we've started with one product or price, can we add to that and increase the value for the customer in return for a slight increase in products? Or cross-sell. So if the customer's dealing with one product or service that you have, is there something that's complementary to that they can also buy that would help them? And cutting costs. A lot of businesses nowadays are looking seriously at how can they cut costs. So that's one of the things we have that we can work with clients through our software program, is to look at where there's areas we can cut costs. So the key to any successful marketing for any business are four things. First of all, a market dominating position. You have to be unique enough and stand out from your competition to help the customer decide you're the business that they want to do business with. The conversion equation, and I'll share that with you shortly, but how do we get customers to go from prospect to turning them into buying customers? Well, part of that is our messaging and what we call the conversion equation. The compelling offer. There's a couple of different ways that we can make an offer to customers, but there's one way that works better in most cases than another. And what does our strategic campaign look like? In other words, is marketing done on an ongoing, consistent basis? So I oftentimes tell customers, marketing is not an event. Just because you posted an ad somewhere doesn't mean that it's over. It's an ongoing process. So typically when I work with businesses to focus on those 5 profit areas, we have 8 different strategies that we use to help customers. So one is making their advertising work. The second is to look at joint venture opportunities. The third is how can we upsell and cross-sell. Fourth is can we expand our products or services to be able to offer more to our customers? Can we downsell? In other words, get more volume and offer clients more value without reducing our prices substantially? Can we create a drip campaign, or a revenue generating process that keeps customers into the loop until it's time to buy? And how do we stop the discounting madness? Because if you look around these days, people are slashing prices, particularly in retail. And just to share a short little story with you, imagine 3 businesses side by side on the same street, and they're all in the same industry. One day, one end of the street, the owner of the business decides, well, it's tough times during COVID time, so we're going to give people a discount, sticks a sign on the front of the building that says 30% off. Well, shortly after that, the business on the other end of the street thinks, well, we can't be outdone, so we're going to offer a discount as well, but it's going to be 50%. Sticks a sign on the building outside and says 50% off. Well, the business person in the middle of the street is perplexed. What should I do? And then comes up with strategic thinking and decides, here's what I'm going to do. Next day, there's a sign out front that says main entrance here. That's strategy. So last of all, how can we cut costs? And I mentioned that because oftentimes we're duplicating efforts or we're reinventing the wheel. So the conversion equation. This is how we get messages across to prospects and turn them into customers simply because we're giving them what they're looking for. So first of all, we need to interrupt their current thinking. And that's basically done through your headline. And that doesn't matter if it's a billboard or an email or an advertisement or anything that you're doing. How do we interrupt them and get their attention? Second of all, how do we engage them? Well, the interrupt is addressing the fact that you know they have a particular problem and they're looking for a solution. So the engage, the subheadline, is telling them that there's an opportunity to solve their problem. The third part is to educate them. And nowadays, most businesses have websites, and on the websites is usually talking all about their business, not about what it can do for the customer or how they can offer something of value to the customer that can help them. So we need to educate our customers by providing information that will lead them to purchasing. The last part, the offer must be so compelling and irresistible that they'd be crazy not to do business with you. So what does that look like? Well, here's a dental organization, and it's COVID time. Best time to ever get braces. Does that say what it should say to the market? Absolutely. And oftentimes billboards are a great measure of how to get a short message across clearly and succinctly. And if you look at a billboard, generally there's 8 words for the headline and less than that for the subheadline, and then identification and an image. But isn't this an effective ad for a dental clinic? So if we've looked at market dominating position, how can we do that? Conversion equation and compelling offers. Well, compelling offers, many businesses do this. They have an incentive offer. And that incentive is things like buy one, get one free, or a discount, or a gift with purchase, a free service, maybe an estimate or an assessment. But the problem with this, and the disadvantage for businesses, is we're compromising our pricing. So when we sacrifice price, it means we have to work harder to get more money in the door. It's easy also for people to comparison shop, particularly online, if we're discounting our prices all the time. And it typically only appeals to the 1% of the market. That's the people that are looking to buy now. So a better approach to this, and it also trains customers to only respond to offers. And if we typically look at most professionals, and this happens in many industries, but professionals have this challenge, is that they do the same thing. They say, call us, book an appointment, fill out this form, and get in touch with us. But where's the information that's going to help people decide? You look at this financial planner's information, it's all about him. Chiropractors are the same way. What's the offer? Well, it's call us or book an appointment. That's one chiropractor. And many of them do the same thing. So a better way of offering people solutions and getting them to consider buying from you is to do what we call an informational offer. And what that is simply helping them make a decision on how to buy and what to buy when. So you look at, say, for a mortgage professional, well, a free report talking about the 8 mistakes that most people make when it comes to buying a mortgage. Or how about an idea guide? So contractors could help customers create ideas for whatever they're doing, whether it's adding a sunroom on. Financial planners could use a self-assessment, both personally or financially, to help them. Or how about a home renovation company? What if they had an idea guide or a consumer's guide, better still, on how to decide on which renovation company to work with and what products and services to buy? Then when it comes time, because you're the person that provided that information, you become the preferred supplier. So the advantages with this, first of all, is that it builds trust, because you're not trying to sell them, you're just giving them information that's going to help them make a decision. It establishes a relationship, again, without selling first. It offers evidence of a claim that you have as to being the right supplier for them. And it appeals to the 99% of the market that aren't ready to buy now. So everybody has thresholds to resistance. So if you've bought a car recently or a big purchase, typically most people are resistant about going to, say, a car dealership or talking to a realtor simply because they know right away that person's going to try and get them to buy. But what if we help customers decide what the best choice for them is? So on the one end of the spectrum, future buyers, it's low risk because they're still trying to decide the benefits of ownership and why they should buy. In the soon-to-be buyers market, they have objections to ownership and they're asking themselves, why shouldn't I buy? But when it comes to the now buyers, they're down to the point where they're trying to decide the right vendor, who's going to supply them with the services or products they want. And who should I buy from? So the resistance goes from low to high the closer they are to the purchase. So let's go back and talk about chiropractors for a moment as an example. Typically, most chiropractors' websites say call us or get a free exam or book an appointment. But what if a chiropractor offered an informational report that says how to resolve back pain and there's a revolutionary new treatment? Would that be something that's low risk for most people? Yes, it is. So when it comes time to buy, they've already built a relationship up. Why would they not buy from that particular provider? So we're going to focus on 2 strategies around marketing your business today. And as I mentioned before, these are 2 of 8 strategies that we work with. First is making your advertising work, and I've already talked a little bit about that, but also how to create a revenue generating drip campaign. So here's a child psychologist, and like many psychologists, he's providing parenting advice for parents. This is his original website, and there's a picture of him, or a video of him, I should say, with a little video script. It talks about 9 different areas, but if you look at the right-hand side, he talks about booking a free consultation. The original video script went like this: parenting advice from Dr. John Smith. Greetings, parents, so on and so forth. I'm Dr. John Smith. I want to welcome you to Remarkable Parenting. You'll find tons of great information here with hundreds of pages of articles. Well, I can tell you right now, he also talks about 9 areas of expertise. I can tell you right now that if parents are in crisis mode and dealing with children that they're having problems with, they don't want to read hundreds of pages of information. They want a solution now. And of course, his offer is free consultation. Well, they're not quite at that point yet. So it's a generic headline and generic copy. How do we make his advertising work for him? Well, first of all, we develop what's called a squeeze page, which gets people to focus on one area that they're having a problem with. So, and you can see the headline says, "Are you sick and tired of yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your children?" There's the problem. Here's the solution. Now you can discover the secrets to controlling your child instantly and restore peace and quiet in their home. That's the solution they're looking for. And guess what? They can enter their email address and their name and get a free tip sheet that will help them solve the problem in 60 seconds. We also changed his video script. And so now it's enter your email and first name into the box and get 60-second technique that will immediately restore peace and quiet in your home. So that's what parents are looking for. His original website was drawing in traffic. He was getting about 300 leads per month. And when we looked at the conversion rate, he was getting about 10% that were actually asking about consultation. 3%, or I should say 3 of those became customers or patients. So that's a 1% conversion rate. So if we go back to the formula, interrupt, engage, educate, and offer, and we change the way that people connected with them, the 300 leads per month generated 60 people who requested the new offer, 6 new clients or patients. The average sale was about $800 per patient. That's $2,400 a month in increase, or $28,000 in additional revenue per year. How would you like that for your business? I think we all would. So the second strategy is talking about how to create a drip campaign. And definition of a drip campaign is just automatically delivering communications to a prospect on a predetermined and scheduled basis. So if we look at the child psychologist again, we take the 300 leads that the psychologist had, we got 60 what we call opt-ins. In other words, people that asked for the free offer of information, which turned into 6 clients or 6 patients. So this means that 54 of those people were not qualified yet. In other words, they weren't ready to buy. So we put those 54 back into our sales funnel and nurture them with a drip campaign. And as I said before, a drip campaign is not about selling them. It's about providing information that will help them decide to buy. So that produces an additional couple of clients, 2 clients. So now we have 3,600 prospects, which we can work with, which generates 72 clients in 12-month period through the drip campaign and an additional 156 clients from the drip campaign itself. So we've now converted those people to buyers. So here's what it looks like from a numbers perspective. We get 54 from the initial 60 people that contacted through the website and through the sign up page. We put those 54 back in the pipeline, we get 2 customers, and so on. So as you see, over the time period in the year, you're putting those customers back into the pipeline over the drip campaign until they're ready to buy. And it just simply means that you're staying top of mind with your customers over a longer period of time, or your potential customers. So by month 12, the doctor's getting now 30 new patients every month. Is that something the doctor can handle? Absolutely. Because they're no longer having to book appointments by phone and spend a lot of time prospecting or looking for new patients. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, when we're working with businesses, we have a program, a software program that gives us an opportunity to analyze all 40 areas of the business that we talked about in those 5 specific areas of business. And what we do is we come up with an analysis of each of those areas, which actually gives us a percentage of possibility of increase in profit and a dollar figure attached to that. So you can see under the summary here, these are some of the areas that the software has looked at and determined an increase in revenue. So if we look at the original revenue that the doctor was bringing in was $250,000 a year. The new gross annual revenue is $400,000. And that's simply by using the various techniques that we've talked about. So again, I've mentioned only 2 of the 8 strategies that we look at with the business to help increase revenues. So if you can imagine for your own business, if you looked at all 8 different strategies and the 5 different profit areas, the possibility of being able to increase your profits is quite strong. So let's go back and look for a moment. We look at the foundation of the business. Do we have the right strategies? Do we have the right target market? Do we have the right offer? More leads. Are we looking at all of the channels to generate leads? So we're going to talk today about LinkedIn and how you can use LinkedIn more effectively to generate leads. But as I mentioned earlier, there's many other areas where we can generate leads from. Are we getting more conversions? So it's one thing to get leads, but what are we doing in the process to convert those leads to paying customers? Are we getting more transactions, either from new customers or more transactions from existing customers? And then overall, are we increasing our profits?
Cool.
So I'm going to turn it over to Alan now to talk to you a little bit about LinkedIn and how you can use LinkedIn as a strategy to generate leads. Alan?
Awesome. Thank you, David, so much. And so it's really amazing when you have somebody, especially a second set of eyes, looking at your business from the outside. I always think that's probably one of the most valuable things to do, is have somebody else who has knowledge on these things, look at your business, dissect it like I do for my clients on LinkedIn, and really figure out what you can possibly do to increase profits and also plug holes in the system. So now we're going to talk about using LinkedIn and lead generation for your marketing processes. Many of you probably came to this webinar here from LinkedIn, so we know the LinkedIn works, right? And LinkedIn has all these amazing new features and things that hardly anybody knows about. For instance, if you look at my profile on LinkedIn, you can see that I have this little speaker icon beside my name. I'm just going to minimize the thing here for a second and go to my LinkedIn account. So here's what my button says.
Hi, I'm Alan Fine from LinkedIn Leads, and I can get you a never-ending stream of leads from LinkedIn.
So one of the challenges I find about LinkedIn is that they're really, really bad. And how many of you just like raise your hand or put yes in the chat box? How many of you agree LinkedIn is terrible, absolutely terrible about putting new information out on their website to us, their clients? 800 million people out there, and often I go on the internet to try to figure out how to do something, especially when LinkedIn changes things. And then I go to an actual LinkedIn interior page when I Google it, and the information is either old or outdated. For instance, clients of mine messaged me last 2 days to say that their whole LinkedIn inbox had disappeared because LinkedIn right now is doing a whole revamp on the whole website. Some of my clients still have this black bar at the very, very top where you have all these buttons over here. It's still black, and therefore, they haven't gone through the change yet. And as you do these changes, you'd think that LinkedIn would be sending you an email or a message saying, hey, your messaging section might go off temporarily, but they don't do that at all. So my whole job here is to make sure that my clients and hopefully you know about what you can do on LinkedIn and how you can possibly use it. Someone said they did see an email about inbox change. How do you add the little audio? Only on mobile. So you got to go into your mobile LinkedIn app, and it's only available when you log into the mobile version. I don't know why they did that way, but they do. So why LinkedIn? Why use LinkedIn? Well, it was launched in 2003 by Reid Hoffman and Alan Blue and CEO Jeff Weiner. Jeff Weiner is not the CEO anymore. Microsoft acquired LinkedIn for $26 billion. So imagine having a company and in only 13 years building it up and selling it for $26 billion and getting an ongoing job later on to boot. That's pretty good ROI as far as I'm concerned. There are 800 million users on LinkedIn as of October 2020. 280 million users are active monthly. 160 million users are North America. I did a search for a client the other day on LinkedIn of how many people were in my city. So on LinkedIn in Calgary, Canada, where I am, there are about 600,000 users. So, Calgary has a very, very high LinkedIn usage. I find more people use it in North America than most of the other parts of the world. 40% of people use LinkedIn daily. Like I'm on LinkedIn every single day. And the reason people use me and my services is not only that, but I got onto LinkedIn in 2005. And by 2008, I was already training people on how to use LinkedIn because once again, like I said beforehand, LinkedIn's pretty bad at putting out their own information. Or, when you go into a LinkedIn interior page to find out how to do something, often the information is old. One of the other major reasons you want to be on LinkedIn, especially if you're in the B2B space, like most of us are here today, is that 44% of LinkedIn users earn more than $75,000 per year. And overall, the average number on LinkedIn is even higher than that. I've heard it's up to $100,000 that the average person on LinkedIn makes $100,000 per year. Now, how does that compare to other websites like Facebook? Well, they say that also on Facebook, the average income of a Facebook user is $30,000 per year. So people on LinkedIn actually have more money to spend, as well as they also are decision makers. So there are 280 million people on LinkedIn daily. 50% of LinkedIn members have the decision-making authority for their companies. So if you're looking for, to use LinkedIn for lead generation and marketing, the people you're talking to probably have the authority to say yes, they want to buy your services, or no, they don't. And that makes a big difference when you're talking to people on LinkedIn and using it for marketing and lead generation, because you're not wasting your time. LinkedIn posts reach an estimated 9 billion people each month, with most of the content actually coming from less than 100 million people worldwide. So 800 million people on LinkedIn, and 100 million people are the ones who are using it the most. LinkedIn has a tiny fraction of content compared to other websites, but LinkedIn has huge organic reach, which actually is interesting because I did an article on LinkedIn, and we've all had this situation beforehand where people send us this message on LinkedIn or connection request, and almost to the very, very second you say yes on it, people are trying to sell you something. So I wrote this kind of funny article here about stop trying to get me into bed on the first date on LinkedIn. And what I mean by that basically is, LinkedIn lead generation and marketing is basically like dating. You wouldn't go out on a date and try to, unless you go on, or some people would try to get someone in bed in the first date. But usually, a situation where you ask people how they're doing and ask the girl or guys, what's happening in your life and get to know them better before you do the ask, quote unquote. But I see so many people, even nowadays, they send me a connection request, and the very second I click on the yes button, they're trying to sell me their services. And, I talk to my clients and, they go, well, WTF, I know I can purchase from you. Why should I? I don't even know who you are. And especially you haven't asked me anything about me at all. So, it's really, really important that you create that relationship for people on LinkedIn before you do the ask. So LinkedIn has a powerful job board on it. It's people looking for jobs. You can build your brand and build a huge network on LinkedIn. I've seen people with millions of followers, and I'll show you about that later on, why it matters how many people you have on LinkedIn as your first connections. It can help rank your name on Google, or you can create articles on LinkedIn that also get ranked on Google on page 1. It has a great Rolodex of contacts. It gives you reach even globally, 800 million people worldwide. You can research companies and their employees. It can help you tap into industry news. And it provides a huge opportunity to network. And the most thing I use LinkedIn for, obviously, is marketing and lead generation. So let's talk about your profile. The number one mistake I see people, and starting from the top, is they have really bad profiles. And I'm going to go over a profile like my profile and show you the different areas, and I'm going to dissect it and show you step by step what you need to make sure you have done. And we actually have a profile PDF we have as a gift for you at the end of today when you stay to the very, very end of our webinar today. You can use LinkedIn, your profile, to expand your network. And also, you can also use your profile for credibility and authority. We want to make sure that your profile on LinkedIn is very, very credible. And, also doing things like having great recommendations gives you authority, because people are saying how great you are as opposed to you saying how great you are. You can stand out for your competition on LinkedIn, and you can show off your career success. So everyone's heard of the saying, you only get one chance to make a first impression. So it's very important that your cover banner and photo look outstanding. Unfortunately, 99% of people on LinkedIn have no cover banner, and we think it's a very big mistake. So as you can see on my LinkedIn, really cool looking cover banner. Hopefully you think it's cool. I think it's pretty cool. A nice profile picture. I see people's profile pictures, which I'll show you in a second, that are not done properly. They have these weird backgrounds, they're not smiling, and also the profile picture they have on their LinkedIn profile is like 10 or 20 years old, and they simply don't look like that yet. Or look like that anymore. So it's very, very important you have a good profile picture. You don't necessarily need to have a professional photographer take your picture. Get dressed up, have somebody who has a really great smartphone camera take 24 pictures of you. When I ask my clients to give me a new headshot for the LinkedIn profile, often they'll give me like 2 or 3 pictures. So I've actually had to tell them, hey, when you do profile pictures on LinkedIn or for LinkedIn, take like 24 of them. Different angles, different distances as far as how close, different levels of smiling, and then you can Photoshop, like I photoshopped this background banner into my LinkedIn picture to make it look more professional, because the picture background beforehand was like beige or something like that. So it doesn't look very cool. And I just put this background picture. The next thing we're going to talk about is your heading. I'm going to go over more slides like this. So also one of the biggest challenges I see for people's LinkedIn profiles is all their profile is written from what do you call it? Not benefits, but features. So I'm the CEO of my company. So it says CEO of LinkedInLeads.ca, right? And that's it. So you need to know and write this down for yourselves, the 4 things that people want to know from the surveys I've seen, and asking all my clients and asking people, for the last 12 years, when you go to someone's LinkedIn profile, is who are you? What do you do? What can you do for me? And why should I use your company as opposed to the other companies doing exactly the same thing you do. And a lot of that information needs to go here in a great headline. So I recopyright the person's headline, but also on the about section and this section over here. If this section over here is just about you and your accomplishments and doesn't talk about what kind of results you can get for your clients, then you're not properly copywriting your profile and your headline. You need to answer the questions, what can you do for me, and why should I use you as opposed to anybody else? Then we go to activity, and we look at this part over here to see what kind of content are you posting on LinkedIn. And I'll be talking about all this later on here. Here are examples of some other cover banners I've seen that I really liked, and I copied and saved for myself. So you can see they're colorful, they're engaging, right? They're not just like one background picture of a cityscape or a city skyline, right? So, LinkedIn gives you a huge opportunity to do better than everybody else out there. I was recently doing a workshop for a bunch of interior designers, and I thought by doing my research for interior designers on LinkedIn, I would see tons of LinkedIn banner covers that were really, really amazing as far as the color and content. But I was amazed to see that most interior designers either had a terrible background banner, like nothing else special right now at all, or no cover banner at all. So, I really think there's a huge opportunity for people to do great on LinkedIn for themselves if they do the things that other people on LinkedIn are not doing, which is having a great headshot, great cover banner, great copy. When you're doing a headshot for yourself, make sure that you look professional. If you're a business that works with other businesses, like a business coach of some kind, or in the investment or money business or industry, make sure that you're wearing a good, nice looking suit. Make sure that you're professionally groomed and you're smiling, and not some weird creepy smile, but a nice smile. And I've actually had to go in where people's cover banner photos or cover photos where they're okay, they were almost there. I had to Photoshop them so they were smiling more, because they just weren't smiling enough. And that's really important. I mean, people think, well, yeah, if I'm smiling a little bit, it's fine. But if you don't look friendly on your LinkedIn profile picture, and you don't have the right copy, you could be missing out on a whole lot of business. And trust me, there are people who take this very, very seriously, like your competitors, and they're stealing all your leads because you're not taking this seriously, and you're not looking at this, this amazing website for marketing lead generation where other people are doing those things properly and they're getting all the business. Also, LinkedIn shows you your how optimized your profile is. Usually under this section over here, they have a little thermometer or reading of how your profile is done, and they have add this to your profile, add that to your profile. That's really, really important, because a fully completed profile not only ranks higher on Google, but also ranks higher on LinkedIn. So if someone's looking for your type of business or service, and they type those phrases into the LinkedIn search bar at the top left-hand side of the screen, your profile will actually come up first or sooner if you have a completed profile. Completed profiles also have 132% more increase in LinkedIn profile views and 3 times the number of search appearances. LinkedIn, once again, shows you this information as to how complete your profile is. So it's not like you gotta figure out, well, is my profile done or not? They'll tell you basically. So your headline on your profile, that part I showed you the top of my profile beside my little, I'm Alan Fine button. Um, don't use a job title alone. Don't make it too general. And you want to use some really descriptive words like expert, winning, dedicated, best. But also you want to put your, I think personally, you should also put your like magic trick as to, why should people use you? Like, what can you do? What is the benefit of working with you? And let's face it, we've all heard this information from our clients. Hi, Dave, Susan, Todd, Tim, whatever your name is, Christine. I love working with you. This is what you hear from your clients all the time. I love working with you. You're amazing. We used somebody else beforehand, and they didn't do a great job for us, but you do a great job for us because you do ... And, I suggest that you really start paying attention to what your clients are saying to you and writing that stuff down on paper, because most people unfortunately don't formalize the great information that their clients are telling them, and then use that information on their LinkedIn, on their Facebook, on their advertising and marketing, on their website. Also, in the LinkedIn, on your profile LinkedIn, you can use, words like LinkedIn wizard, right? LinkedIn lead generation expert. So you want to put these types of words, because if someone's looking for a LinkedIn lead generation expert and you have that on your profile somewhere, either in the top section or in the about section over here, LinkedIn will pick up on that and will show your profile, will rank you better on your profile. And other things you can do, other things you will appear in is the people you may know section. Where is who's viewed your profile? So here's who's viewed my profile. And also you could have the people you may know section in here somewhere on the website. It's either here or another part. This back in the other section there. LinkedIn keeps on changing things around and moving things on a regular basis, obviously without telling you what's going on. So, but this is another strategy I use. I go to the people who viewed my profile section, and I'll either message them or I'll email them or something, because if they're on my profile, they might be looking for my type of service. So, and you only see all these, by the way, if you have a premium paid for membership. And let me just tell people, clarify this. Everybody always asks me, how much is LinkedIn Premium? Well, every single paid for membership on LinkedIn is called Premium. And there are 4 basic ones, which we'll talk about later on, but there's basically career, business, sales navigator, and recruiter. Those are the four main ones. Headline examples, for someone who does HR, human resources consultant. And then there's this thing in the middle is called a pipe. It's the key on your keyboard right above your enter key when you have your shift key pressed down also. I like the way this looks, and people are using this more and more often now. Human resources consultant, helping smart managers keep their employees engaged and productive. Salesforce trainer, are you pushing your CRM to full potential? And commercial realtor, connecting business owners to properties. Another headline here is a person who does cardiac stuff and heart health stuff. Love helping and preventing reversing heart disease. Cardiac rehabilitation, heart health authority, and an author and speaker. This person has digital marketing and content expert, and there's a picture of her on stage, which is a great banner. I would have put a couple more things on here, maybe in the black section, maybe her logo or a catchphrase on her also. Wall Street Journal bestselling author, keynote speaker, and writer. Your summary, which is actually now your about section, you have 2,000 characters to describe who you help and how you help them, and also what sets you apart from the pack. Remember, if you don't think of your summary to tell people why you're different and what's the benefit of working with you as opposed to anybody else or the other 1,000 people on LinkedIn who are doing exactly the same thing you're doing, then you're just not going to stand out from the crowd at all. Your summary, once again, is not job description. Remember I said think of the benefits of working with you, not features. Your summary should not be about you. It should answer the question, what can you do for me? Your summary should not ignore the problems you solve for customers, clients, or your company. Your summary should address what your target audience is looking for, what do they need, who or what are they looking for, what is their pain point that you solve. And so also you want to use language for your target market. So if you're in the oil and gas sector, which is, you know, a big thing in Alberta, then you want to use oil and gas sector language to really connect with and speak to, you know, your target audience. And, you know, often people will put on their profiles or their workshops, who is this for? You know, so who is your service for? And also, lastly, your summary should also include a smattering, not keyword stuffing like on Google for SEO, but a smattering of the right keywords and terminology for your audience and target industry. Your profile should speak to your audience as you're the industry expert, and I'll go over what makes you look like the industry expert in a few minutes here. It should provide data to back up your results. LinkedIn allows you to upload PDFs and videos and white papers to your profile. You want to also mention things about your company, for instance, if they're currently hiring. Highlight professional interests, and also include contact information. How many of us have gone to someone's LinkedIn profile and clicked on the contact info button and none of their information's here? And they go, well, you know, I've had super hard times in the past trying to figure out how do I contact somebody on LinkedIn, especially if not yet even connected to them, because I want to hire them. So, you know, make sure that you think about what am I putting up as barriers for people to get a hold of me and hire me. Is my website on there? Is my email address on there? Is a phone number on there? So make sure you have all that information on there properly. Demonstrate your passion, show some cool personality, maybe put some cool videos on there, make yourself approachable, you know, invite people to connect with you on your profile, invite people to have maybe a free consultation on your profile, use I as opposed to we or us, right? Intrigue your readers, and if you do all these things, you'll win credibility. So here are some examples of, you know, profiles. I found this article. I'll put this in the chat box. Chat and okay, did not save it properly. Give me a second here. And copy and then paste. There goes. Okay. And let me just put this into a browser to show you what the article looks like quickly. So here's just a reference. You can look at some of these people's profiles and things. Rich media, as I said beforehand, you can really snazz up your profile by putting on videos, but you can also put on JPEGs and PNGs, PDFs, you know, and people who have rich media on their profiles, I think their profile is more eye-catching. And you've had two profiles side by side of people in the same industry, in the same business. One profile has great rich media, other profile has either no rich media or, you know, not great rich media. The person who has great rich media will probably get more engagement and more results than the person without it. So, you know, on your profile, you can put all these different things here. And here's the features section now. This is where you put all your rich media. You can add things to it. You can change things. And you can add, upload photos, documents, and presentations. Also, rich media connects to LinkedIn SlideShare, right? You can show links to websites. And, you know, it's really important to have this information. I'll be shooting some new video for myself and putting on this section over here, a welcome video. As I work on getting a new iPhone, I'm embarrassed to say that I have, you know, iPhone 5S, and they're just coming out with iPhone 12 now. So I'm looking for a new camera on my iPhone. I'm looking forward to buying the newest one, I think. Yeah, so I showed you all the areas you can put rich media into. Also, now LinkedIn also has this cool link. I'll put this in the chat box also. And on this, you can see your LinkedIn social score, and it gives you kind of an idea of where exactly you are within LinkedIn's business. You can see I have an 86 over here on mine, but it tells you where you are as far as your social selling dashboard. And for me, I'm in the top 1% of my industry and top 2% of my network. So articles and posts. The clients who are doing the best on my lead generation system are posting content on a regular basis. Why it's so important? Because we wanted to you make sure people showed that. Oh, sorry about that. It's the same link. Let me try it again here. No, let me go back then here. Previous. Here we go. So previous, and do this quickly here. Copy here and put in here. No, it's not, for some reason not copying here. And copy and paste. Is that it properly now? I think that's it. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, sorry about that. So why is it so important to post content? Because it makes you the absolute authority in your niche. And the people who are posting regular content, no problem, Julie. People are posting regular content on LinkedIn. You can see it's happening, and you can see they're engaging people on LinkedIn. Getting more eyeballs back to the profile. So on top of my organic lead generation, I find that when more people see my content, they are getting more people back to my LinkedIn profile, and more people are sending me connection requests on a regular basis. And so here's all my activity, all my posts. Video is really huge nowadays on LinkedIn. That's why I'm creating more and more videos on LinkedIn on a regular basis. Here's the animated video I created for this webinar here. And so I did an animated video. I did exactly the same thing for a live version of video on LinkedIn, but also I'm going to be creating more videos on LinkedIn to engage my target audience. So did I share that with the whole thing here? Everyone? Okay, good, awesome, great. So the biggest engagement I'm seeing from people is video right now. So if you can create videos that not only engage your clients, but also give them some free information, those are the videos that are getting the most engagement. And then also we're seeing videos on LinkedIn that talk about hard stuff. I've seen videos on LinkedIn for people who are talking about drug addiction, their own drug addiction, and how they overcame it. I saw the guy from Shane Holmes in my city here talk about why he recently came out of the closet on LinkedIn and what it actually did for his business. And he got huge engagement on those videos. And so, creating videos with those, those captions at the very bottom, that's what I'm seeing more people do on LinkedIn, and that's what's getting actually more and better engagement on a regular basis. Also, for writing articles and posts, please contact me if you want this, but I have an article writing formula for my clients, because when I talk to them about putting posts and articles on LinkedIn, many times they gave me this blank stare and went into what I call analysis paralysis at the very top of this whole thing here. So here's my article writing formula. First of all, then the most important thing probably is figuring out your topics. So the topics you can write about on LinkedIn is your actual industry. what's happening in your industry, what's happening with you and your industry, what's happening with your industry, and what's happened with COVID-19 and how things have changed dramatically. And then once we have the the topics, then I usually Google that topic. So if I was talking about how to survive business and maintain a balance with family in the year on the age of COVID-19, then I'd be able to see what other people are writing about it. And then I Google it. I find a graphic for it. I create a powerful headline for my article that sucks people in and gets you to read the whole article. And one thing also, if you all close your eyes just for a second and think of whale, WHALE. When I said the word whale, though, did you see the letters in your mind, or did you see a picture of a whale in your mind? Most people say they see a picture in their mind. So remember, people think in pictures, right? So make sure that your article and your topic is very descriptive. So as opposed to talking about, shampoo, talk about shampoo that makes your hair silky smooth, your creamy lathering up on your head, smells great, smells like flowers, right? Those kind of things. So make sure your articles are very descriptive. But if you want this article writing formula, please just email me after the webinar. I'll be happy to give it to you. For instance, here is this lady that I follow. Her name is Bridget. She does HR, and on a regular basis, I think she has like 2 million people following her now. She writes these really passionate articles. You can see she has a nice little smile on there. Before she had braces and all her pictures, and now she doesn't have braces at all. And actually, I wrote about that in one of my articles, and I sent her a message saying, "You look amazing without braces. Congratulations for getting them off." But look at the article and the comments over here. 29,619 likes, 1,433 comments. And what this article was that she wrote about was being an HR person. She went into consulting a business. The business was doing interviews for a new position. The day that she came in, it was like just raining like crazy, just pissing buckets. And this guy came into one of the interviews with the interviewer a half an hour late. And before the person came to actually interview this person, she came to Bridget and said, "Hey, this guy came half an hour late. He's soaking wet. I'm just going to send him home because I don't think he's the right fit." And she took this person aside and said, "Are you crazy? Look what it took to get here. Look what it took. He must have run through the rain to get here. This person is committed to this job position." And actually, the interviewer interviewed the guy, and found out all the things that he had to overcome to get there, and hired him, and he became employee of the month afterwards. So, these kind of articles that people write on LinkedIn about really, challenging things. She talks about, discrimination in the workplace. She talks about sexual harassment in the workplace. I mean, really, really, hard stuff, but it gets amazing engagement. And then people keep on following her and people keep on engaging with her. So you should be, if you're using your LinkedIn profile for a job search, make sure all your work experience, including your summer jobs, particularly if they reinforce skills you're pitching. If you have stuff on your LinkedIn profile that is not relevant to your existing industry, take it off, because unless it's relevant as a backup, let's say if you're, into accounting, and you, had a bookkeeping job beforehand, obviously that'd be relevant. But if you don't have things that are relevant to your current position, take them off your LinkedIn. Also, LinkedIn allows you to upload your resume on your LinkedIn profile. Let's see if anybody put anything in the chat here. Nope, that's just David. Okay, so make sure you have your resume and your LinkedIn profile all done up for people who are recruiters who can see things like, for instance, a regular person on LinkedIn can't see your resume, but if you have the person who has the recruiter membership can. So let's see here. Also on your profile, you can put on all your achievements, initiatives, right? and what it took to move the company forward. So people like stories. So on your LinkedIn profile, you can add all these different things, and it allows you to add different sections. So more. So there's a section on here. Here it is, I think, to also you can edit your profile URL. So here, when you click on this little pencil icon over here, it takes you to this page, and you can edit your profile URL. Some people have a whole bunch of numbers on their profile afterwards. Just you can edit things here till you find a profile address that isn't taken yet. And then you can add different content to different sections here. Edit your contents. It's just taking a second to load. I'll come back to it in a second. So also for your experiences, I noticed that many people don't have a company page properly formatted on their LinkedIn profile. So if you haven't created a company page, create one. And then on your profile, you can go to over here. And you can add your company page on your experience over here. And some people, and you can always tell if somebody has either A, created a LinkedIn company page, and B, connected it properly to their profile by whether or not this icon where you see my logo here is grayed out, if it's gray, or this color here now, this little stock image of LinkedIn, or if it's a color graphic, meaning you've not only created a company page on LinkedIn, but you've also properly connected it to your profile. Let's see if this other part over here has finally worked here or not. Where did that part go here? No, that's company page. Oh, add profile section. Here it is. So here's that profile section. So yeah, like I said before, LinkedIn's changing things all the time. So here's your intro, your about section. Here's your feature section, your background. You can also add more about your education, licenses and certifications, your volunteer experience. Here's your skills, accomplishments, additional information. And if you speak different languages, here's where you put that information in there. Wow. Well, I can't believe that we got through all that. I'm sure you guys have lots of questions, but when I do these kind of workshops, and now with David, we find that people above and beyond the workshop want to get some help afterwards. So we created this program, we created this package for you at a big discount to help you through it. David, can you put that link into the chat box here? And then show, and here it is. So Dave is now going to talk about this program and package we have. I'm just going to go to it. Oh, that didn't work again. Copy. Hopefully this will work this time here. Paste, here it goes, yep. And let's just go there for a second. And so David, actually I'll go first because my thing's first on here. So here's my lead generation package for LinkedIn leads. On my part of the program here, I'm going to revamp your whole profile for you. I'll create a new cover banner. I'm going to go to your settings and rewrite all the copy. I'm going to optimize your profile with key phrases for your industry. I'm going to work with you to upload videos and images. I reorder your skill set. I'm going to copyright your whole profile, which is your headline, your summary, and then I'm going to give you a recording of our session. So we have a strategy on what kind of messaging you should send out, how to do searches on LinkedIn to identify who is your target market according to you, and I'll show you and create the search strings on who exactly they are and what filters on LinkedIn, going to the LinkedIn filtering section, and then how to connect with them and what to say. The things I see people saying to me on LinkedIn all the time is, I'm getting connections on LinkedIn, but when I go to start messaging people, they never get back to me. They never engage with me. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to quickly talk about is the LinkedIn event strategy. So also be doing that with my clients. Here's the LinkedIn event section over here on the home page. Here's events right over here. And here is the one we did today. And you can see that I can manage the event. I can manage the attendees, okay? As well as I can also invite people who are my first connections, and I can filter that by locations or the industry they're in, and then I can invite them to my events, and that's one of the biggest ways we filled this event today with you, and thank you very much for being here. So David, you can take it away.
Sure. So if we look at your marketing strategy and implementing the aspects, the 5 areas that I talked about, we have an online literal library of examples, and we also have an email that comes out once a week to our coaching clients that addresses different aspects of their marketing and gives them tips and ideas that are helpful in implementing their marketing. In addition to that, there's also a library of videos that talk about the various aspects of marketing. So in addition to access to that library, which has templates, examples, and so on, we also, I'll also work with you once a month, have an hour's conversation to make sure that you're on track and implementing and deal with any questions you might have. And so that package is part of the package that Alan and I are offering. So if we combine both packages together, and I had a mathematician on there yesterday that said, well, it's not exactly $3,500, it's 3,400 and change, right? Anyway, but the values are of $3,500, so we're offering it at $19.97 US for our seminar or webinar attendees. And there's 2 other options of breaking it up into payments. And so if that's something you're interested in, happy to talk to you about that. You can go to the link that I just posted in here and sign up for that. Happy to talk to you in person. If you want to shoot Alan and I an email, we can do that, or let us know and we'll touch base with you by phone. And so
when you open up the buy button, it opens up a PDF on my DocuHub, which is like DocuSign. You can choose what package you want. Just go log in and then fill a copy. And then when you just create a account for yourself, unless you're already logged into Gmail or Google, and they do it automatically for you. But yeah, we're going to hold you. We're going to hold you both all by the hand. I'm going to answer all your questions. We're going to do a lot of the work for you. And so let me open up things now. I believe.
questions.
Questions, yeah. So what questions you guys have? And, you want to put these links in there also possibly, David?
Sure.
You have on your site to put them in the chat box?
I
So
do.
if you want to unmute yourselves and ask us any questions about what the content we went over today, we'll be very, very happy to answer things for you in detail. Don't be shy. No one has any questions. My goodness, we must have done an amazing job today. No one has any questions at all? I'm amazed that we did such a great job that no one has any questions at all.
Just trying to find these links here, Alan. I'll just type them in.
Yeah, I'll just copy them myself.
Perfect. Yeah.
So someone has a question.
Oh, good.
Oh, no, is this comment saying thank you is very informative. Thank you, Michelle.
You're
Appreciate
welcome,
that.
Michelle.
Yeah, and if you guys want to, you want to unmute yourselves and say hi to us and ask us anything at all, I'll be happy to answer any LinkedIn questions. Dave would be happy to answer any marketing questions. Once again, let me just end this slow and get those 2 links in there for you so you can see where the free gifts are we have.
Yeah, and one of the questions just came in, Alan. What's considered a good SSI score?
Oh, I would probably think at least 80. Let's go to here. If I can get this link in here, possibly. No, that didn't work at all. I don't know why my thing's not copying and pasting my links properly into LinkedIn. I got to, like I said beforehand, put this in a notepad file. There you go. That worked this time.
Okay, good.
Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions at all, you have our email addresses on the chat box on Zoom. I'm not sure if you guys also know this, but there's a little thing that says file on the right-hand side and 3 dots. You can download this chat to your desktop, so you can get these links for yourself if you want to use them later on, like the free gifts or the actual one for the buy now button. Like
So
this
any
here,
final
save chat.
questions at all?
No, wow, as we said, we did a phenomenal job, Dave. Thank you very much.
That we overwhelmed them.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, for sure.
Want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a great day, and good to see you all. Thanks for taking the time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sit on
I
our
want to
webinar.
thank
And we've got
Gordon
our
and
contact.
Michelle, Rob, Mitch, Dana, Laura, Nancy, Lynn, Sharon, Bruce, and Julie. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it very much. Once again, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact us. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.